Hello, my dear listeners. My name is Kishore Ganesh, and in this episode of the Vocal About Visuals podcast, I'll be reviewing Antoine Fuqua's The Equalizer 3, starring the remarkable Denzel Washington, Dakota Fanning, Gaia Scodelario, and others. It is written by Richard Wenk, Michael Sloan, and Richard Lindheim. And if you are a South Indian and didn't know about this film at all, well, I think you would have come to know about this film after that quote unquote fan moment of actor Vijay, aka Talapati Vijay, that went viral in India to the point that after the photo of Vijay venerating Denzel was put on Twitter, Denzel Washington started trending nationwide in India. And at least among Tamils, the awareness about Denzel's films grew to some extent thanks to this event. If you have been following my podcast regularly, or even if this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from, and leave your review if that isn't too much of a hassle. And extremely, vitally, importantly, subscribe on YouTube. All these things, I assure you, helps your boy out. As always, I appreciate your love and support. The Equalizer 3 is completely set up in Italy, and that's an epic pro for this film, in my opinion. The gorgeous Italian landscape and culture that's showcased in this film makes it feel very exotic and James Bond esque. On top of this win is the main story, which is a straightforward action flick of the Equalizer taking on you guessed it right, the Mafia. Because Italy. In one sense, the Equalizer franchise's arc is similar to the Dark Knight arc, and if you put two and two together, you will get to know how this movie comes to an end, at least from the conclusion of the arc standpoint. However, how this film gets there is also, I should say, quite fun. Antoine Fuqua has sculpted his filmography to include as many guns blazing action movies as possible, and with regards to these films, he has achieved a command over the execution. This is an almost no fat action movie, and the movie just chugs along fine from beginning to end. The writing from the three writers has helped deliver a slick action flick that ties up all the threads by the end, and even if some events do occur in a predictable and rather convenient manner. But then again, the Equalizer series has always been like that. The emotions and the conflicts are always the supporting casts, and the Equalizer just happens to have the skill set required to equalize the various situations. And if that happens a bit conveniently in the interest of the runtime and the final payoff, then that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now, none of this is to say that in any of the films, Denzel comes across as being totally invincible. You're not anywhere in this film led to believe that Denzel is safe. I mean, you don't get that feeling. And that's to the credit of the writing. Moving to the performances, the straightforward action movie is elevated by the one and only Denzel Washington. His reactions, the delays he brings before and during those reactions, the way he moves his eyes and mouth, and the idiosyncrasies he brings to this character, all of this will only be done by a thespian, a proper actor, and Denzel is for sure a proper actor. The supporting cast are quite good too, but the villains, as is the case with many of Fuqua's films, are a bit too caricaturishly, diabolically evil. Maybe that's why when the equalizer equalizes, you get a very video game-esque feeling of eliminating the enemy. More so than any other equalizer, Part 3 has a very definite sense of belonging. Home and comfort are themes that are running constantly throughout this film. Maybe a coastal Italian town brings that to a film, but it is also the way the story unfolds. Everything non violent about the film is wholesome, and this juxtaposition works to keep us, the audience, engaged. Basically, I like the lighter people side of this film as much as I enjoyed the butchering of the baddies. And that essentially means that the makers have a solid film on their hands. The Equalizer 3 is a solid action movie, but more importantly, is an opportunity to have some serious fun in the movie theaters and during first time or even quote unquote rewatches at home. Once again, my name is Kishore Ganesh. This is the Vocal About Visuals podcast. Thank you, my dear listeners, for your time and for listening. You can follow me on my socials at Podcast Plural, and my socials include Threads, X or Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you.